Hello and welcome to the Globetrottin ADs. Since 2019, a way for athletic directors, activity coordinators, coaches, and friends to connect and collaborate no matter where they are around the world. We hope that you enjoyed the podcast and share it with anyone you think will enjoy it as well. And now, let's get this episode started.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to this episode of the Globetrottin ADs. Here we go. We are coming to you today from Prague, Czechia. I don't call it Czech Republic anymore. They Czechia, maybe either or.
I think it's Czechia.
Czechia. Okay. So we are downtown Prague with Nick and our special guest, Matt Yoder from QSI Bratislava. We're here in Prague today for the Danube Valley Athletic Conference, our local DVAC league, our annual fall meetings. Happy to be here. The weather's lovely. The views are spectacular. The beer's not too bad, too, on that.
We are sitting outside across from our hotel, waiting to go to dinner with some of the other DVACers, and thought we would basically record a conversation about topics that are on our minds as we start the school year, right? So,
yeah, maybe some new stuff, maybe some old stuff that we're polishing up or approaching maybe in a different way. And yeah, a couple small topics, but maybe these are things that are happening in your schools too out there, or you got something to weigh in on and how it's happening at your place too. We'd love to hear it.
So it's a yearly occurrence, DVAC meeting, in-person podcast with Matt Yoder. Matt, thanks for joining us again.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
All right. Well, we may have some trams go by. We may have some locals stumble upon us. So excuse any distractions, and let's get at it, Matt.
Yeah, it's a unique atmosphere for sure, but we love that here on the GTADs. So here we go. Yeah, so we're going to talk about some stuff that's happening, maybe some new topics. We're trying to think of some things we could discuss today. So something new that's taken place at my school, which has been pretty well received from the school community in general, parents and the teachers for sure, is in Hungary, they've passed a new rule where you can't have cell phones in school, mobile phones, smart devices, so on. And that's all the way from preschool to high school, senior school, so 12th graders. And so far, so good. It's been a little bit of a challenge, but I think everybody's on board with thinking this is a positive thing for kids and for education in general, and working with kids and getting them to stay on track and be involved a little more. And so far it's worked out very good. I think we're still mitigating some things with how to, okay, kids are going to bring their phones. That's to school. I think we know that's kind of a given thing, but kind of like, what do we do for them? So there's storage options we're working through, so that families know that kids can still have their phone. Because I think that's still kind of important that kids do have a phone in a way, because it does make life easier to communicate with parents. Where are you going to be tonight? Here's going to be for dinner. What's going on? Here's going to pick you up. Those kind of things. So, yeah.
As an AD, does that have any implications for like signups or anything for you? Because we use Schools Buddy, we use Teams for communication with our athletics.
Yeah. No, not really, because all of our signups are due through our Veracross system. They're done through our Veracross system, so it hasn't been an issue with that. But it did come up with we had our SKIS ADs meeting last week online, and I had brought up the same topic. And interestingly enough, some other schools are going through the same thing where they're applying this rule that no phones are allowed in school. And we talked, well, how's this going to work? We have tournaments, right? Because kids are going to be bringing their phones. But the general thought was, and I think we'll get to this later and tighten it up more as we go, if you're going to a school that has that rule in place, you have to follow it. So, out of sight, it's going to be an out of sight, out of mind kind of stuff.
You're not going for normal school. Like, the rule is for schools, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going for a tournament, then you're going for a sporting event, and you're not going to be in class. So if I come to you, especially on the weekend, never mind weekends, clearly, but Monday to Friday. So if you're going there for this, they're not going to attend class, because the rule would be.
Yeah, that's something those are the little finer points we have to work through. Okay, yeah, it's the weekend. So, but I think in general, it's still an educational activity or event, right? So I think school rules should still apply, and we want kids to be engaged as much as possible. So I think that's something we have to pay attention to. And of course, I'll have to clarify with my administration before our first event. Yeah. But I think it'll be pretty clear. We just say we're, no cell phone during school event, and then this will just carry over for our sports and activity events.
Yeah, one thing we've used a lot of QR codes, and like how to get around that at this point when you can't have your kids pull their phones out and take a shot of this QR.
Sure.
Codes.
Yeah. Funny, I mean, we've had no phones at school for middle school for years. Put it in their locker, go to class, it stays in their locker the whole day. But then clearly, as soon as school's over, the way home, they want to, get their Snapchat streaks and whatever. So that's fine. And I think it worked out well for classes. But at our meeting last week, at ISST meeting, ASL said that they're not going to have phones at all until practices are over. So the kids can't have them, not just the end of the school day, but until practices are over. And for them, that means busing to an off-campus site for quite a while. So they're going to bus to Cannons Park, have their practices, bus back. So the kids are going to be without their phones that whole time. They want them talking to their buddies on the bus. Maybe the coaches are going to talk to them on the bus. I don't know. But that's something new for them this year, that until they're checked out of school, really checked out, they can't have them.
Okay. I'll be interested to see how that works out then for them. Like, what's the feedback of how that's going so far?
Well, that could be for you too. Like, if the kids don't bring them or they can't have them, technically, if they're going to practice right after class, can they go to their locker quick and get their phones like ours do? Or do they have to leave them in whatever locker?
We've said they should leave them in their locker, because until middle school, we already had this rule. Just to clarify, we already had this rule in place for our middle school from last year. So now, which was fine. It was, like I said, very well received, but now it's whole school. So we talked about that. And so we just said, leave them in your locker. We'll give you extra time at the end of practice. If you're a bus rider, they still have a 15-minute window between the end of practice till the bus leaves to run back, get their stuff and get to the bus.
Yeah, the tricky bit, I think, for after-school athletics is the transportation, because sometimes that changes. You might need a last-minute message to or from a parent.
Yeah. I'm coming to pick you up.
Yeah.
We're going over to so-and-so.
Right.
Grandma's house.
Yeah, and for us, that's gone through our transportation coordinator and their coaches.
Yeah. So,
it's
lot
funny.
of problems.
Well, you want kids to connect with people that are there, but the phones are also the way to take photos and to get numbers and connect. Give me your number so I can, your Snapchat name. It's a tool, right? Yeah,
totally a tool. For us, it's a huge tool. I mean, constantly with messaging and group chats with other ADs. Especially when you're hosting a tournament, you make a group chat for coaches that are there that weekend. Give them details, quick way to get out information. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I wish I could find a better way to use I don't have any games. I'm not a gamer on my phone. A good shout out for a game. Let me.
I've played Formula One on my phone. That's the only game I play.
Sometimes a little backgammon game.
Yeah. I was going to say, you said about Matthew, you said about Teams, and that's how you communicate. And we use, Google Chat and Google Groups or whatever it's called now. It changes, right?
That's our normal MO.
Right. But the kids have it on the computer.
Right. Yeah.
So what we found out is, even I'll write my daughters on that, and they have it in their phones in their locker, but I can chat with her the whole day on Google Chat on the laptop. Yeah. And then even more so, you put WhatsApp on your phone, on your computer, and the phone's in the locker. It doesn't matter. You're still WhatsApping the whole time. So I think they're always going to find ways around it, right?
It's funny you say that. I hadn't thought of that piece yet, right? When our teams go away with our trips on sports trips for skis, when they're going to Prague or Warsaw, one of the things we always tell our coaches is, because they're being housed, is make a group, Google group.
Everybody does it.
Well, they'll have their phones with them. I mean, sure, you can't. Yeah.
So it's they're gonna have some. I guess what it'll be is there's gonna be a check-in time, right?
Yeah.
Where you're not together with kids. I'm sure when they get to the house, whatever, they're still gonna be a lot easier. There'll be time will be if they can use their phone, and still gonna have to have that piece, because then it's part of our protocols too, right? So
It's
not feeling it's not feeling comfortable, and something happens in the house, they gotta let the coach know too. So. Yeah, but it's one of those things, the start of the school year is oh, by the way, here's a new thing.
a pretty big
Let's
mistake.
deal with it now amongst all the other
I'll tell
stuff
you.
you got to do to just start the school year.
I'll tell you, when my daughter was in 6th grade, a couple years ago, she's an 8th grader, they didn't want to let the kids take their phones on the retreat. And it was 2 nights away, 3 full days, and they weren't allowed to bring their phones at all. And I might have been the first parent that wrote an email to my colleagues and said, that's not happening. My kid's bringing her phone. Well, they can always use our phones if they need to call. I'm like, no, what if you're the problem? My kid needs to have her phone for 3 days away. And they rethought it. They collect them at night. There's always a way, right? There's always a way.
Oh, especially middle school.
I don't like the solutions where, like, I don't know if you've seen these where there's lock boxes or even these like neoprene bags. Have you seen these?
Oh yeah, Yoder Yonder bags.
Not Yoder bag. It's the Yonder bag.
Yoder bag. You should get make your
Should make it off brand.
Yoder bags.
No, but like the thing is, it's like I think those are all solutions looking for problems. I think honestly, we need to teach kids some self-discipline. We need to teach ourselves self-discipline with these devices, and it's like if you can build that muscle, whatever that muscle is, so people can just put that phone away and do it on their own willpower, then we're actually like passing something on to those kids that hopefully they'll be internalized and they'll just take that forward. And I think hopefully it'll make society better because it ain't too good right now, I have to say.
Yeah. Well, I still have my vice of TV. I still love to watch TV at night.
Yeah.
It's nothing's more relaxing for me after a long day at work. Sit out and just
It's funny.
watch a little YouTube or some useless video.
I was just going to try to order a drink.
Oh.
He didn't hear me. I wanted to say in Schuligung, but we're in the wrong country.
Yeah.
3 thumbs.
I did want to say, you mentioned about the TV at night, Matt.
Yes.
Something very funny my wife said to me the other day is she's like, man, I remember my parents always bugging me to get off the TV because it's gonna wreck my eyes and I should read more. And now I'm telling my daughter, get off her phone and watch TV because it's better. I'm trying to get her to watch TV and get off her phone, and my parents are trying to get me to stop watching TV.
Yeah.
Sounds like fame.
Modern problems to have, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All good. All good. My 2 cents for the new year and something new we're working with. So
Phones in schools, it is an ongoing topic, right? And how you deal and how different schools deal with it. It's super.
I'll still have mine in school, I'm pretty sure, though. It's impossible.
Well, it's not teachers. Your work,
That's right.
your school pays for your phone.
It's a tool.
It's like a work phone. You got to have it at work, right? All right. Well, listen, mine is, hey, there's a girl in a softball uniform with a softball bat. You don't see that every day. Maybe in Prague you do. Softball and baseball are big here. My little thing for the year, and I don't know, it seems like it's ongoing, but it feels more prevalent now, is I'm just having a hard time getting games. Hard time, especially for JV, middle school B. And I want to have every team have, 10, 12 game seasons. I know that's not a lot for some schools out there, but it would be a lot for us.
For us, it is. It'll be.
It's just dependability of local schools. We have a lot of schools around Vienna, but it's still, they don't know what teams they're going to have. And anyone outside of Vienna, even Bratislava, which is an hour, they're not going to come during the week. And weekends are precious. We all have different fall breaks. We have like a random Friday off. Some of the countries have different holidays. And then the price of trips and hotels are getting up there.
Well, this is where you might have to start getting creative with your program and having more, with those teams, having more intra-squad things or small-sided games, or maybe games with, opposite gender or a higher level, like high school girls versus your middle school boys B team, right?
Right.
This little, or maybe like some kind of little series if you can pump it up somehow, or just something to make it fun and interesting. But it's also going to be an opportunity for more skill work.
Yeah.
I guess just try to spin a positive on it. But yeah, I get it. It's hard because everybody's at different levels by their school standard, their school size and stuff. And trying to match up is tough, which is the beauty of them having the DVAC league, because when you get there, then they're going to be playing
for some games.
somebody more their level, right?
But even like, I don't know, girls be soccer, middle school girls be soccer, middle school boys be. There's not many out there, and I don't know at what point is it not a season? I mean, the value of the team, of practicing and developing is there. But at what point do I maybe say, no, we don't have B soccer teams anymore, but we just have a developmental soccer program. It's 2 days a week. It's boys and girls, whoever gets cut from the A teams, and they play only inter-squad games. Or I don't know, it seems crazy because you want to have teams. We want to have more teams. But if I can't give the team any weekday league games, like not league, but, any weekday games, and then they go to one DVAC tournament and maybe play against all A teams, then is that really a team?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, tennis. How many people do we play for tennis? Like, nobody, right? They just practice. Maybe we play each other one time.
Short season too,
and then we have the tournament.
Yeah.
Is that a team? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a yes and no. It is. When they go away that weekend, it's definitely a team opportunity, right? But it's just such a unique thing. Like, you're never gonna. I don't know. I couldn't see us ever getting a chance to have any kind of competition during the week with another school,
right?
It's just because. And what local Hungarian school
you're going to play
tennis, right?
Yeah.
Well, usually it's like this. A lot of school, international schools, especially in Europe, like all your better tennis players are club players.
Yep.
Anyway,
right?
So they're getting some kind of competition out there.
Sure.
But being a part of the school team is cool.
For 1 week, yeah, that's the point. Like,
school
1 weekend.
I think they enjoy that, and they getting a chance to represent the school and being a good player, and as long as they're coming to practice,
right,
at least 50% of the time, which is what the rule says. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like our boys A soccer team, 11 aside, they kept 18 people. Boys B soccer team, 7 aside, they kept 20 people, but usually they can make 2 teams. And we cut about 10 kids, right? So if we didn't have a B team that gets hardly any games, maybe we'd keep all those 30 for a developmental 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And then they just play against each other, and those 10 kids that we cut would get something. When's the limit, right? Like, if you can't get games for your teams, you just have that final tournament. Is that a team you should even have?
Right.
Or just forget the tournament, call it developmental. You guys are smaller than us, so what do you...
We're smaller, and I would say, especially since it is developmental, it's not really development if all you have is an end-of-season tournament, because how do you develop there? Really, I think in order to have that development, you got to have at least a season of, I don't know, it depends on the sport, depends on what the community is used to, but 5 to 10 to 15 games, So, that's the challenge. Right?
Well, it is, but I think back to that's how this league started, right? The DVAC. It's great, we're gonna have a tournament for our B teamers.
Yeah, we might have no games during the year, but we're gonna have a tournament.
Yeah. But I think those kids still really enjoy it, knowing that they go to a tournament. Yeah, I'm on the B team, but I still want to go play for our school and go to this tournament and play and have a chance to win the whole thing, the championship. Just the fun of it. I think keeping those kids involved is fantastic.
Kukri Sports is a clothing brand that specializes in providing the world's most prestigious schools with bespoke made and designed team uniforms. If you're frustrated by inconsistent colors, branding, cost, and sizing across your teams, then it's time to email someone at Kukri Sports today. When you email contact@kukrisports.com, tell them about the Globetrottin ADs, and you'll receive a special offer on your coach or PE staff order.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that actually is the end of the conversation between Matt, and I. Just after we finished our second topic, we were interrupted by some other friends and reminded that we were late to go to dinner to meet everybody else. So what our idea was to capture some conversations that ADs would have, when you're out at these meetings and around. You just talk about stuff. So we brought up those two ideas were things that we, if we didn't talk about when the mic was running, we would have talked about over dinner. And I know that's what a lot of us do and love to do, is just talk shop all day long. And that was one of the reasons we started this podcast anyway. So even though we didn't finish our third point, and Matt Yoder, you did not get to share what was on the top of your mind. It's a short one. Some good stuff there, some good topics, of course, that are going through Matt and my world at the moment. Yeah, the next few episodes will be longer, a bit more planned out in a nicer recording location. But we had some fun anyway recording this and hanging out with all our DVAC colleagues afterwards. So we hope you enjoyed a little bit of a snapshot into our worlds there, and come back for another episode in a week or two. Take care.
This has been another episode of the Globetrottin ADs. We hoped you enjoyed it. And until the next episode drops, head over to globetrottinads.com or visit us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.